Welcome back to the 128 KB podcast. We are back once again due to lack of popular demand. And the lack of demand was so great that Andy can't even sit in the same room as me.
I'm actually social distancing, but you know.
That's actually true. I had COVID. I don't have it anymore. I'm better now, thanks for asking. But, just through abundance of caution, Andy's decided to be 100 miles away from me.
Well, basically, I just went like this and was like, stay back.
But being ill has given me the gift of time.
The gift of games.
The gift of gaming. And no, I've not been able to stream because I've just been this lurgy-ridden monster. But for those of you that have been watching streams, you'll see that I finished Starfield.
Yeah. Woo!
Finally. Yeah, that's it. I think I put in 140 hours into my playthrough.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I could have done more. I did that thing I do with RPGs. I always talk about that. I'm going to 100% this game up to 90%, and then I'm going to rush to the end.
Well, I think you might have been playing my save because I'm pretty sure I only had maybe 2 or 3 days on my save. I loaded it up on the weekend and I played 3 or 4 hours, and my save said that I'd spent 6.5 days in it. And I know that I haven't played that long.
Weird.
I don't know what's happened to it, but it was definitely at about 3 days the last time I looked at it. Yeah. And now it's at 6 days and I haven't played it in about 3 weeks. So I was like, how's that happen? It's weird.
There's definitely some issues with corrupt save files on that game.
Luckily, mine was fine. It left off where I left off, but the time was wrong. Like, definitely was.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
But now it's finished, I feel like there's a gap in my heart. So what I want to address in this podcast today is what games we're playing right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's hot or maybe what's not in our current games library.
Yeah.
For me, post Starfield, for you, well, you're always like an omni player, aren't you? You're always playing like 5 games at the same time.
I know, because there's so many that come out. Like, I can't keep track. I mean, I no-life Starfield for like a week or 2 weeks, and then stuff started coming out, and I'm like, oh no, I need to play that. Like, Mario Odyssey, not Mario Odyssey, Mario Wonder, and stuff like that. I was like, oh.
Time Machine.
Yeah, but
Mario Odyssey.
All this stuff's happening, and then I'm like, I can't keep up. Do you know what I mean? It's frustrating. I want to play Starfield, and I want to complete it, but then there's so many other things happening. So yeah, I've been cheating on Starfield. I'm going to
place a bet with you now, Andy.
What was that?
You're not going to complete Starfield.
Oh, yeah.
I
will.
Think you're going to do it. No,
it just might be on the Switch 3 when it launches on that.
When it's the launch title of the new Switch, you'll buy it again.
Well, I did with Skyrim. I did the same thing. I've bought Skyrim like 5 times. I've never completed it.
I so desperately want you to complete it so I can talk to you about it. But
I know.
I can't without. Now, whenever I talk about anything, I have to be like, there's this thing that happens to someone. Well, and like dancing around it.
The way I see it is it's a good thing because by the time I actually complete Starfield, most other people will have as well. So that then there will be no spoilers. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's nice of you.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of the viewers,
Yeah. Because, big RPGs are difficult for people with jobs.
Yes.
As someone pointed out to me. I do want to address, before we move on to what games we are actually playing, and just, I don't understand the amount of hate it's still getting.
Yeah.
Starfield, we were talking about this before. Like, I don't quite get it.
No, I don't understand. Like, and the comparisons they're making as well. Like, what?
Comparing it to Spider-Man 2 as if that's a valid comparison somehow to show that it's better. PlayStation's better.
It's not even the same.
No, I don't quite understand that.
It's not even like no way. Gran Turismo and Forza. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand those comparisons.
Yeah.
But Starfield and Spider-Man, like, what?
No, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not as if Spider-Man has been free of bugs. I've seen plenty good ones in that game.
Yeah.
But it does look like an epic game.
It looks great.
I definitely want to play it, but I'm not a Marvel or even Spider-Man fan enough to drop full price on that game for
not
me.
Not £70, no.
No, it's not enough for me. I'm not really into them.
No, I enjoy them like a lot, and Christina loves them, but I can't justify spending nearly £100 on one game when I pay like for Game Pass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I played the whole of Starfield, like I say, 140 odd hours on one playthrough, and it cost me, what's that, £8 a month or something.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And now I can go on and play Lies of P.
And so many other games.
Price.
Yeah.
So many other games.
Yeah, yeah.
We've waxed lyrical enough about how good Game Pass is.
Yep.
So good that I get the name right.
Oh, yeah.
Talking of dropping huge amounts of money on games that aren't really worth it, right now, as we're recording this, the Call of Duty early access is available.
What is with that?
£100 if you want to play it early.
That's ridiculous.
£100 to play Call of Duty.
And I imagine that's the whole game, right? Including multiplayer. So you're only going up against the other people that have paid £100.
Yeah, the other sweats. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't know. I fell out of love with Call of Duty a long time ago.
Yeah, and as have I, but I would still play, like, once they're on Game Pass, I will play them. I absolutely will.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying like that much money every year when there's a new one every year. I'm not paying that much money. Like, no.
What are you actually buying? You're buying new maps, essentially, new skins.
Yeah.
Maybe a slight graphical improvement.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And a campaign. A single player campaign of some
which
kind.
is apparently about 3 hours long, according to IGN.
Here's the thing I don't understand. I know that as time's progressed with Call of Duty, that's become like a bit part of the game. It's not the main thing anymore.
Yeah.
But of old, there are some legendary single player campaigns on Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Some of like the most legendary kind of gameplay experiences. I think the ones that stick in your mind anyway.
Yeah.
So for them to totally abandon it like that is a real...
It's weird, isn't it? Because back in the day when it was like full hype, this is where it got Call of Duty to be where it is now, was like when I started playing Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1 in like 2007 or whenever it was, right? And then it was Modern Warfare 2. You know, those two games were like really where it elevated Call of Duty into like the stratosphere. And I remember specifically buying them for the single player. So I played the single player and then went, damn, that was good. And then that's what got me into the multiplayer. Yeah. But now it's like, we've kind of got a campaign tutorial if you want it, but then play multiplayer. It's like,
it's basically a tutorial for multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's savage. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. But I just don't understand why you'd spend £100 to play it a week earlier than everyone else.
No, me either.
That's beyond me.
No.
That's such a huge amount of money. I'm gonna kick things off with and because I'm thinking about wasting money, and that leads me into what I'm currently playing.
What you've been wasting money on.
What I've been wasting money on. So I managed to get like a voucher. I'm not going to say where from because it's advertising and they don't pay us. So I got this voucher.
Really, he mugged an old lady.
I mugged an old lady and I got a £30 voucher from her. It was like GTA 3, you know, when they fall down and the money just appears next to them.
Yes. Or was it that you mugged her and then returned it and then she gave you like a reward of £30 for returning?
Oh, devious.
Yeah, that's it.
I like it.
Finder's fee.
The criminal mastermind. So I had this voucher. I bought some, I don't even know what the name of it is, Xbox credit voucher. There's a name that they
Game
have.
store voucher?
Something like that. £30 I can spend on Xbox. So I just, you know. So I had this £30 credit on my account. It's like, so what game am I going to buy with this? Flashback pre-order is coming out, and Flashback 2, sorry. And I know I've talked about it a lot.
I was going to say, AJ, both on and off camera for the past how many years now, has been
so many years,
absolutely going nuts about Flashback 1 and this new one as well. So
Flashback 2.
I can't believe that you didn't get that with this voucher. What made you think no?
I feel so stupid.
Why did you make the choice that you made?
All I can think, right, this has made me feel like, and I've talked about it on here before, I'm sure, or at least I wanted to, is like the most disappointing game purchasing moments. And this has brought me right back to when I was a kid and I spent my birthday money on Rise of Robots, the fighting game on Mega Drive.
Yes.
Which was awful. awful. I bought it and I remember going into the magazine store next door, Smith's probably, and reading one of the Games Master magazines, and it had like a slating review, like 2 out of 10, worst game ever. And my heart sank even before I played it. I was like, no, what have I done? Wasted this money. This current game that I'm playing is giving me those vibes.
Oh.
I was kind of hyped for it. I think we even included it on our list of games we're most looking forward to coming out.
We
this
did.
year.
We were both hyped from it. From the like small snippets that we'd been shown prior to release, we were both like, "Yeah, this is it's going to be
cool.
Amazing." 80s dystopian,
It's got cyberpunk vibes to it. It's a kind of hardcore action B movie.
Yeah.
It's got that tongue-in-cheek sense of humor that I love.
Yeah.
I, of course, am talking about RoboCop Rogue City.
Oh yeah.
Now, full price in digital only, this game was £50, which I thought was quite steep, but I had this £30 voucher. So I was like, 20 quid. Do you know what? £20 for RoboCop. I've been looking forward to playing it. Let's get it. Let's do this. Let's go. It is so singularly disappointing that I kind of want my £20 back.
Can't you refund it if it's on the eShop?
Can you refund on there?
Yeah, I think you might be able to with Steam.
Shut up! Wait, I can get.
I think you might be able to refund.
I can get my
it.
money back.
I think you might be able to, because on Steam, I don't know how it works with Xbox, but on Steam, if you've played a game for less than 2 hours, I think it is, then they'll give you a full refund, no questions asked.
I must have smashed like 5 hours on it.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll try. What I was going to do is I'm going to give it another proper like couple of hours of play, because I don't like to judge too quickly, because there's a lot that's okay about the game. But by the fact that I'm having to give it more time before I properly judge it, I know really that it's not very good.
Yeah.
Most good games, they grab you first impressions.
Immediately, yeah.
I even think about Starfield and how slow the start of that game is. It was like 10 hours before it got interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was still captivated in those 10 hours.
Me too. Yeah, I was hooked from the get-go.
It's slow. It's so ponderously slow. Every part of it, not just your movement, but like the gunplay is slow. The aiming is slow. There's no like nice targeting, even though RoboCop himself has this like targeting vision, doesn't he, in the film? It goes green and
yeah. Yep.
You can do that with aim, but you can't lock onto the people.
So
it's kind of pointless.
Yeah,
so it does the square thing where it zooms in on them.
Yeah.
So you're like, sweet, they're there. But then I have to move, and he's like really slow at moving.
Right. Okay. So it just shows you where they are rather than...
Shows you where they are. I was like, this isn't great. Movement is really slow. You can pick up other people's guns, but picking things up is really slow. Like, honestly, it feels really like you are just this ponderous tank. And then I think, well, that is RoboCop.
Yeah, he just kind of plods along and kills everyone.
Yeah. It just doesn't translate that nicely to a gameplay experience.
Yeah, I get you.
You are basically a bullet sponge, and you're going into scenarios just taking loads of fire. You're almost indestructible. So it's hard. That's why I'm like, I don't want to be too critical, because that is RoboCop.
Yeah. That is literally like when you watch the movie, that is what it is.
Yeah. But then I go to like, well, the missions that I've played so far, they're all quite boring.
Yeah.
That's fetch quests.
That's the
fetch
letdown.
quests when you're really slow, and like things are really overtly obvious. Like the thing you have to pick up's got a big green stick coming out of it. Like, okay. This isn't great. The voice acting, the NPCs are slow and ponderous. It doesn't look very good. Even though it's using the new Unreal 5 engine.
Oh, is it?
It doesn't look very good.
No, I didn't think it looked that good at all, to be honest. Like,
no.
I thought it, looked
they've
like
got reflections down quite well.
Yeah.
And I know it was always a feat of engineering, but it generally doesn't look very good. I was playing it, and in my head, I was like, this feels like a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of like level of blockiness.
Yeah, I get you. It's just all clunky, yeah.
Everything's clunky. It felt like a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah.
I was just getting my enthusiasm for it was just going less and less and less and less.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame because I was really like hyped about that myself. You know, I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this. But then I was like, I'm not going to pay full price for it. I said to you, like, if it came out on Game Pass, I would have played it day one.
100% should be a Game Pass game.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm not paying out for that when there's other stuff I'd rather buy, you know. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then when I had the same feeling I had with Gollum. so
it's a very Gollum experience.
Yeah, because when that first like released, or we had years of it being delayed and stuff. Yeah, I was looking at it going, as like a tech demo, this looks really good. So it looks like the game could be good. But then they released the game like that, and I thought, oh no, this is going to suck. And then when it came out, I paid for Gollum, you know, and I bought it, and I played it for however many hours, like 6 hours, and I was like, this just sucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really sucks. Like, it felt like a tech demo that they would show internally to the other game devs to then get approved to then make the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about it. And I kind of had those vibes with RoboCop, but not as bad. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, it just looked a little bit weak, and I thought it can't release like this, surely. But now you're confirming my worst fears.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's got potential. It's got real potential. But much like Gollum had real potential, does still in its raw. If that was its raw state.
Yeah, if it was like an alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not there. So I've got that horrible feeling, and I don't think that as a gamer there's many worse feelings than spending full price money on a game that doesn't live up to it.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I'm quite careful with the games that I select now, unless they're on Game Pass when I don't care. You know, I'm like, yeah.
That's what's wonderful about Game Pass.
Yep.
And this game, it fits so squarely into that. I'm surprised that it's not in there. But obviously it's an independent development. It's kind of why I don't want to be too harsh.
Yeah.
It's an indie studio, and I saw what happened to the devs of the Gollum game.
Well, do you want to know something funny? I'm pretty sure it was Nacon that published.
It was Nacon.
Yeah. And who published Gollum?
Was it Nacon as well?
Yeah. I've got a running theme that any game published by Nacon sucks, and I'm going to go with 2. That. Like, what was that?
That's 0 for 2.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, but I'm not joking. Like, throughout the years, I swear they only deal with like crap games. Like, I'm sorry, Nacon. I know I know I've touched base with you on some like instances, but there's like most of the games suck. Like, they do. Like, I'm sorry. Someone tell me down in the comments a good game that's been published by Nacon.
A good Nacon game in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
No, me either. So I would say, rule of thumb is, if you see the Nacon on it, avoid.
They basically buy up cheap games to publish.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. Okay, I want to lighten the mood, Andy. Tell me something positive that's happening right now. There's
2 games I've been playing recently, and they've been really good. So I don't know which to start with. There's one that I've been playing on Nintendo, and
start with Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land. Okay, yeah. So obviously we're talking about Mario Wonder.
You almost did it again.
I almost said Odyssey again. It's not Mario Odyssey.
I felt it coming.
Yeah, Wonder. So
yeah.
I weirdly, let's just backtrack. I've said it on the channel, on the 128KB channel. I did a whole video about it, and I don't think people like really cared about my backstory.
Cool backstory.
I never really liked platforming Mario games. I'm sorry. I know I do a Nintendo channel, but
so scandalous, man.
But I've always loved Mario, but the 3D ones. Do you know what I mean?
It's like the opposite to what makes sense.
I know, and it's weird because I love... This is like me saying I hate turn-based, but I love Pokemon. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's the same thing. I love Metroid. I mean, I've got Metroid on the Game Boy right here. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you hate 2D Mario.
Yeah, but I hate 2D Mario because I find 2D Mario sucked. Like, as a kid, when I was younger, like, I'm talking really small here. We're talking like 90s, late 90s, early noughties. Yeah. I found them incredibly difficult, and there is no instruction of what to do, how to get through the level, or whatever. And
they are incredibly difficult.
I would rage quit so hard, and I never really had like the early consoles because it was my brother and stuff that did. So that's why I had my Game Boy Color, and I played most, stuff handheld. So I specifically remember Super Mario Advance. And that game I've still got it. I've still got the original one, and I'm surprised I didn't snap it in half because it sucks. Like, it sucks so hard, and I hated it. Like, I genuinely had rage quit just looking at the freaking box art. Like, it really, really annoyed me. But, Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, which everyone hates, but I love it. All those 3D titles, I love them so much. But I love the platforming, Metroidvania games. I always got along with Metroid, even as a kid. I found them easier than Mario, which is,
they're
debatable.
Tough, man.
They're tough, yeah.
Proper platform as well.
Yeah, but
like the moments of it.
But anyway, I dismissed this, and it's quite funny because I actually filmed a video of the Direct when they announced it.
This.
And I filmed the whole Direct, and it got to the end, and I was hoping it was going to be something amazing, and they showed Wonder. And I was so deflated in that video. I deleted it. Like, I even messaged you and said, should I even put this up?
You're like, nah, I've just deleted it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, can you grab some footage from this? Because I haven't got it for the video. I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, actually, sod it. I've just deleted it.
Yeah, I did. And it was purely based on my reaction to Wonder, because I was like, it just looks rubbish. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm not into 2D, side-scrolling Mario games specifically, and I was just like, nah. And then months later, they did the Mario Direct, and I went, okay, a whole Direct. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to look at it. I'll be open-minded for the people that do love it. I still want to cover it on the channel. I watched the Direct, and I came out of that Direct actually hyped because they showed all of the things that were new and different about it, and I went, actually, this looks amazing. So. Yeah. I never even thought I was going to buy it, but I pre-ordered it. I was like, yep, I'm pre-ordering it. And I saved some money on a pre-order, whatever. Got it. And I've been hooked ever since. I've been 100%.
It looks amazing.
The levels. It's amazing. So good. It's so vibrant on the screen of the OLED. I've been playing it with the Nitro deck, which I love, even though despite it's got some ergonomic issues in comparison to the Satisfy Zen Grip Pro, the grip, right? The Nitro deck is great. I love it. Hall effect sensing joysticks, all that good stuff. So I've been playing it on that, and that has been spectacular. Then going over to play on the TV because Christina wanted to join in. It's so good on the big screen as well as handheld. But 2-player mode sucks, and I always find that it does with any kind of platforming game because one person controls the camera and the other person doesn't. And because I'm normally player one, Christina, I always end up killing Christina because there's stuff coming around on the screen. I'm trying to rush through or get wherever I'm going, and then she's pottering around somewhere else, and then the screen moves, she dies, then she gets upset. And I'm like, well, let's just play one player and just pass the controller. If you die, it's the next person's turn, like we used to as kids, and so that's how we've been playing it. But it's so good. But we've been not moving on to the next stage until we've 100%ed it. So you've got the Wonderflower seeds. So there's normally at least one in a world, but there could be two or more. And then you've got the coins as well. The I think they're purple. The purple
coins,
flower coins. And then you've also got to get to the top of the flagpole, which is so difficult because you might have done the whole level. And if you mistime the jump or whatever, and you miss by a millimeter, you have to replay the whole level again, just an attempt to land on the top of the flagpole to say that you've actually 100%ed it.
That's me done.
Yeah.
That's me checking out.
So the amount of times I'm like, there you go, Christina, you can go and get the flagpole. So she's just had to run these levels to get to the end. But we've been doing it, and it's really good. But I've got a video coming up very soon, actually, about using a certain type of controller on it, and I'll just spoil it here for you. Use the D-pad. If you're struggling with this game, don't use the joysticks because the
That's
amount...
interesting. I was going to ask you about this because it might be even interesting for a whole episode of podcast. The moments in which you use the D-pad, I feel like as... I'm just going to say it, as an old fogey who plays games, right, as like an OG D-pad gamer,
Yeah.
I gravitate to the D-pad far more than I think younger gamers will now.
Yes. Yeah.
So for those moments of real fine control that you tend to find on 2D platform games, I will always go for the D-pad over the analog sticks.
It's a must-have. Like, you must use it because the amount of travel, like the distance between the stick moving from central to like actuating, there is a movement of delay. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with the D-pad,
there's always
instant.
the chance of overshooting, I find, with
as
analog
well.
sticks.
Yeah. So specifically what I had a problem with was to get to the top of these flagpoles on certain maps, you actually have to jump off of enemies' heads to be able to even get up there. So they're moving enemies, and sometimes there's 3 or 4 that you have to bounce on, but you have to be holding up to jump off them. Otherwise you just do like, a half jump rather than a full jump. And I just could not do it with the joystick. I was like, this is impossible. Whereas with a D-pad, I could nail it every time. And I show that in my video. It's so much better with the D-pad. It really is. So I've been using the 8-bit Do SN30 Pro for...
Are they good?
They're really good.
They look really good.
Yeah, especially... I've literally got a whole video of like how to play Mario by using a D-pad, which is also kind of like a review of the controller. But, it is a must-do. So I've been loving Mario Wonder.
It's a must-do.
It must 8-bit do, yeah. But yeah, no, it's
so Wonder gets your seal of approval.
Absolutely, yeah. Which is funny because I literally went into it going, I'm going to hate this, to now I'm like playing it at least every other day, trying to like smash through the whole thing, and it's great. It's really good. And I'm getting kind of vibes of 3D World vibes, because you've got Mario 3D World on the Wii U that came to the Switch with Bowser's Fury. That was like you can just basically like choose like what worlds you're going to go to. In a way, it's not like so linear. You like get to like an open area and then you can walk around yourself and kind of choose the worlds. And that's the same with this. You're not forced, so you don't just get stuck on one level and then you can't progress. You can actually like back out and then go to a different place and come back to it later, which is pretty cool. You're still set into like a certain like island, but it's really good. Like, I absolutely love it. I can't put it down. So I think I'm loving it even more, knowing that I thought I was going to hate it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of RoboCop.
Yes. Yeah, sadly.
Like literally the opposite. I thought I was going to really love it.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to me again. What about me? I had that niggling thought, that niggling concern at the back of my mind, and I ignored it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this actually looks that good.
All you heard going around in the back of your head was Nacon.
Is that published by Nacon? Yeah. Oh, it's going to be crap.
It's so true, though. I'm sorry, but I just feel it, like...
I'm just trying to think of other Nacon games off the top of my head.
You can't, because they suck.
Without looking at it. Yeah, exactly.
They're all forgettable.
And in true Andy 128 KB style, you are playing more than one game at the same time.
Yes, I am playing. So I've been playing Starfield, I've been playing Wonder, and I've also been playing Alan Wake, but not number 2, because I'm a cheapskate. I've been playing Alan Wake 1 remastered because it was on the Xbox store for like £8.
Just a quick shout out to number 2 for being the most unexpected addition to the Game of the Year conversation ever.
I know.
Out of nowhere.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And that's basically why I played 1.
Will it beat Zelda, though? Because I think, in truth, Zelda's the main contender for that Game of the Year.
Yeah, probably is. I mean,
I can't think of anything else that's going to beat it.
I don't know. It's so hard with those Game of the Year things because, again, all these games are so different. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Game of the Year for RPGs or Game of the Year for platformers or FPS or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Just like overall generic Game of the Year. Like, how can you like come to a conclusion on that? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
There's no science to it. But yeah, you can sales, Metacritic.
Yeah.
I just think it's a gut instinct thing.
Yeah.
It's like how that game makes you feel. And then that is totally subjective. That's just
well, for you, it's Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield would definitely be my game of the year.
And honestly, I'd probably say it's mine as well, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I've been loving it.
I've not been as enthused as to buy a whole console for it, but also spend that many hours in a game. Normally, I'll dip in and out.
Yeah.
I think the last time I did that was probably Crisis Core. I wouldn't have spent that much time in Crisis Core though.
No, I think you said you did it in like 30 hours or something.
Yeah, and I was taking my time.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Alan Wake Remaster.
Yeah, so there is a reason why I chose that. So, because...
Well, firstly, you're quite late to the game on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
About a year, isn't it?
It's been out for a while because I saw it came out on Switch and everyone said it sucked. And so I ignored it. So, because I was like, oh, wow, on Switch, that'd be great handheld. But then I remember people saying like there's some serious issues with it. So I was just like ignored. And then I didn't even think about it on the other consoles. And because I know that I've played it on the original release, I actually bought it when it launched on Xbox 360. I might even still have the box somewhere here, the original version. So I had it and I never completed it. Can you believe that?
Shocking. You bought a game and didn't complete it.
So I probably played like the first hour and then I can't remember anymore if I played any more.
Barely played it.
Well, it's only like 10 hours long anyway, so I played 10%.
Well, that's the excuse, yeah.
So, I couldn't remember it. And then when I saw Remaster was down to like £8 on sale, I was like, man, I've got to get that, like, because I really want to play number 2. And I've specifically not looked at number 2 at all because I'm like, nope, not until I play it. I want to keep my opinions to myself and figure them out by myself, So I was like, no, I'm going to get the remaster and play that since it's cheap. And I know everyone said it was great, like the remaster. And I got hooked. I love those kind of games. I love linear games. I love like really heavy storyline games. And I love horror games. Resident Evil and Silent Hill and all that stuff are right up there for me as my like all-time favorites. And so I was like, this is going to be it for me. But the funny thing was I was getting it confused with Alone in the Dark. Because I said to Christina, I've played this. And she was like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I remember the burning building bit. And she's like, yeah. And then we were like, hang on, that's not Alan Wake, that's Alone in the Dark. Which is getting a new game in January.
Yes, yeah.
So that's another game I need to buy because I'm totally I played the original of that as well. But anyway.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
PS1.
Exactly. So I can't remember.
PS1?
Oh no, I'm talking about the Xbox 360 like revamp. So it was on 360 and PS3 or 2, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, originally Alone in the Dark's really old. It was like a point and click style thing. But anyway, back to Alan Wake. So I was like, right, I'm going to buy Alan Wake because it's cheap. And if I love it, then I might stump up for Alan Wake 2. And I was really worried about the controls because obviously it's an old game. It's a remaster rather than a remake. So it's basically just looks a bit more pretty and stuff. And I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, there's one real big niggle I have where the camera is over the shoulder of Alan on his left side so that he's positioned on the right side of the screen. Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong.
It's disgusting. Wrong. It's horrible, but you can change that by pressing the right stick in. So R3, if you press that, it shifts the camera over. However, as you're running and stuff, it slowly transitions back.
Oh, no.
And then you have to click the stick in again. So you're like, oh, man, like I've literally ran like 10 spaces, but because I've moved the camera around, he's now repositioned on the right. And that really does me in because I love like Resi 4 style, Leon on the left side, camera over the right shoulder. That's how it's meant to be, not the opposite. So that really, really upsets me. But over that, like if I can get past that, the game's really good. It looks spectacular. The story's still great.
If you can get past having like a half a second input delay on your Xbox while playing Starfield,
that was
so you can get past the
horrible.
camera angle.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was disgusting. So I
can't believe you were still playing.
I had to though because I loved the game that much. I was like, I must persist, but I didn't realize it was just my Xbox problem with my TV because I had freaking Dolby Vision on and it was causing literally like a 500 millisecond delay between my controller and the TV. And I thought it was an Xbox problem and I was like really upset because I just bought a Series X.
This game's really janky. Look at me aim.
I know. I was playing it. I was streaming it onto my Steam Deck, and it didn't have any delay. And I was really upset. I was like, I've bought a console to play Starfield, and I can stream it on my Steam Deck for free.
Ridiculous.
But anyway, yeah, I can get over that on Alan Wake, but it is tough. So that, like, you have a flashlight and a gun, and basically all the enemies, you have to break their shield with a light, and then you can kill them. And that's fine, because most of the time there's only 1 or 2 enemies on the screen at any time, and it kind of tells you where they're going to come from. But when you're going to get ambushed, when there's literally maybe 6 or 7 dudes, and then there's a big one, like either with a chainsaw or like a massive axe, you are screwed, because that flashlight, once you aim the flashlight, it drains the battery down. And then you have to use a battery, which are like depletable, they're perishable, to recharge it, or you have to wait ages for it to slowly regen. So it's really tough to break their shields and then kill them. Like, I've died so many times. I will completely admit that. I have died so many times in this game already, but I am having loads of fun. There's only 6 chapters, and I'm partway through chapter 4, so I'm really near the end. And I'm loving it, and I absolutely cannot wait to play Alan Wake 2. Like I said, I've completely tried not to look at it, but I did sneak peek at one of Digital Foundry's videos, because they were mind blown by the next level, lighting and ray tracing and all that's in it. If you see those videos, wow, the game is ridiculous.
It's just such a shock entry into that conversation of the game of the year.
Yeah.
For something that I don't know if I just ignored it, because I'm not really into horror games myself, mainly because I play on my own a lot, and a horror game on your own is just a bit frightening.
Yeah.
When you don't have company.
Yeah.
Watching a horror movie with 2 people is really entertaining. With one person,
it's scary.
I'm just scaring myself in the dark.
Yeah.
So horror games I kind of tend to avoid. So that whole Alan Wake thing, I was like, oh yeah, they've made a remake. Oh, okay. Number 2 came out. I've just ignored it, but now seeing the reviews and the conversations has made my fickle little brain go, well, maybe I'll check this out.
Well, if it's any consolation, I don't know about number 2. I can't speak for number 2, and I have seen one headline saying something about Alan Wake is the closest thing we'll get to Silent Hill, this year or whatever. So that's quite a statement, but I don't know how true it is. But Alan Wake 1 isn't actually that scary. It's not what I would class as a horror game, even though it is. It's not like the first time I played Dead Space, where I was playing that at 1 a.m. with all the lights off on my computer with headphones in, and I literally needed a diaper on. I needed a nappy, because that was scary. Even some of the Resident Evil games are scary, but I've found Alan Wake isn't scary at all. It's just quick. Do you know what I mean? You need to jump on those enemies quickly, but it's not frightening. You wouldn't have a problem playing Alan Wake 1, but I can't speak for Alan Wake 2, because I've not even seen a trailer. I've only seen 5 minutes of Digital Foundry with a static image where they're talking about the lighting and stuff like that. So I've completely tried to disassociate so that I can play it with a fresh mind.
So, what's next?
Oh,
I know you've always got an eye on the horizon.
Oh yeah,
because you can't have just one game.
I know,
and you're not going to finish any of the games you're playing. So
I will. I might finish Alan Wake 1 because it's only 10 hours long.
You might finish Mario because you're already nearly there.
Yeah, true. I'm probably about halfway through Mario, but it's getting harder.
You're about 3 years away from Starfield.
Yeah,
so
at least.
What's on the horizon for you? What's coming up?
Immediately, probably Alan Wake 2. Because I'm enjoying Alan Wake 1 so much, but it's just whether or not I want to fork out full price, because it's digital only. It's not like I can get a physical copy on offer here in the UK.
And is it 70 quid?
No, I don't think so.
Or is it 50?
With the power of the computer that's right in front of me, I can find out. So Alan Wake 2, there we go. It's $49.99, but you can buy it in the UK for around £35, so that's probably what I will end up doing.
Wow. And that's totally legal, yeah?
Yes. I mean, with a voucher, £15 voucher makes it £35.
Oh, right. Just if you were going to go to I don't know, somewhere that would sell keys,
Don't know what you're talking about. No.
CDs.
Or like Timpsons.
A bit like that. Yeah, a bit like that. Alan Wake 2, 50 quid. That's a good price. What else on the horizon? Anything coming soon?
I don't know, actually. I can't even think of... I'm not overly fussed about the new Mario RPG game that's coming out. Not fussed about that. It's literally a remake of the old one. I don't care. Sorry. The next thing for me, which I'm really hyped about, which is January, actually. There's 2 in January. I think it's January. Might be after that. Alone in the Dark, obviously, that we were just talking about. Really looking forward to that. I didn't even know that was out until I thought Alan Wake was Alone in the Dark, and I'd already started playing Alan Wake, and then I Googled Alone in the Dark.
You started playing it.
I know. I then Googled Alone in the Dark to realise that there's a reimagining coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yes. So I'm really hyped about that. And the other one is on Switch, which is a remake of a DS game that was 2004 or something like that I absolutely loved, and it's called Another Code. I think it's got a different name in America, possibly, but over here it's called Another Code, and it was a DS game. It's like a detective puzzle game with ghosts.
Wasn't they doing a re-release on the Switch?
Yeah. They're remaking it for the Switch, and it's a collection of both games, because the original came out on DS, and then the second one came out on the Wii, and they've basically reimagined them for the Switch, because obviously it's only got one screen. And I played that game to death. The first one, I must have completed it 6 times, because it's a puzzle game, but it's basically a point and click game, but you use the stylus on the bottom screen to move, and then you could pick up pictures and have to turn them around to find clues.
How are they implementing all of that?
Well, they've I have no idea. I guess you don't have touchscreen anymore. It's just, you just use joysticks or something. I've no idea, but I can't wait to play those, because to me, it was like an unknown game that no one cared about. You know what I mean? Yeah. You basically play as a little girl that finds a ghost, and your parents are missing, and you've got to go through this abandoned mansion that's all derelict, and basically uncover the mystery. And again, I loved it so much. I never ever thought I'd hear of it again. And then for them to just announce it in the last direct, it blew my mind. Blew my mind. Yeah.
Was it the last one or the one?
No,
it was one we were watching together.
I think it was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, okay.
So it might have been previously, but that comes out in January, and I can't wait for that. I'm definitely wanting to play that. There are other games that are coming out, and I can't even think of them. But immediately then, those 3.
I still haven't... I've downloaded it, but I haven't started Lies of P.
Oh, that too. I want to play that.
I've got to play it. And that's so up your street.
Yes, I've got it installed. I pre-installed it before it came out, and I still haven't played it yet.
No, I think I'm going to jump straight on that as soon as I give RoboCop its final chance, which I've already made my mind up. Just talking about it, I've made my mind up about it.
Yeah.
Lies of P looks fantastic, and I know a lot of people have said some really great things about it.
It looks stunning. Yeah, it looks really good. I'm getting BioShock meets Bayonetta vibes from it.
Real Bayonetta vibes, absolutely, yeah.
So that's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
And then I think it's the 15th, so in a week, there's a game I don't ever talk about coming out.
What's that? Flashback
2. No, Flashback 2. I'm a bit concerned because the first one was Delphine, the studio that makes it. It's a small French studio.
Don't say it's published by Nacon.
No, it's published by Microids, I think.
Okay, that's slightly better. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still indie-sized, small production.
Yeah.
They could ruin the magic. Every attempt to reimagine this game or do sequels up to this point in the last 35 years, I guess, has ruined it.
Yeah.
30 years, maybe.
But this could be its redemption. Do you know what I mean? This might be...
Could be.
The next
It's
thing.
definitely got Metroid vibes about it, how they've done it, how it looks.
Really?
Yeah. It's 2.5D.
Nice.
It's kind of cyberpunk-esque. It's definitely got Metroid vibes about it, so that's kind of cool. But they could easily screw it up as well.
I want you to stream that as your next game.
Okay.
I want you to wait a week and do that, or even in the meantime, just stream some RoboCop just for the lols.
Well, I've not done any streams since I started feeling ill.
Well, then take another week to really feel better.
Yeah.
And then stream Flashback 2, because literally you've been non-stop about it for about 3 years.
I have.
So I think you need to stream that.
You just want to see my disappointment live, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I watch my friend crush in front of me.
No, I do think you need to stream that, because that would be a really good way of you playing it start to finish. Do you know what I mean? Actually playing through it, and then we can talk about it here, and you can then say whether or not it was a letdown after all these years waiting for it, or if it's actually worth it.
That's true. I don't think it'll be very long. The first one wasn't very long. We got like 3/4 of the way through it together in one stream.
Oh, did we?
Together. Yeah.
Wow.
We got to the end of the Running Man bit, didn't we?
Yes.
Game show.
Yes.
So there's only 2 levels after that.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're very close to the end.
I'm sure the new one will be longer than that.
Maybe, but I don't know. There's a lot of games that are around 12 hours?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah. Well, again, Alan Wake's only 10 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of length, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say, I want that to be the next game you stream, that'll be like 2 days. It's done.
Just do it in one
3
sitting.
days. Yeah. One Sunday, one mega stream.
Do it.
Yeah. There was one Sunday that I did stream I did 2 4 hours.
I saw that, because I saw that you'd gone live earlier, and then my phone said, AJ's gone live again. And I was like, really?
Really into Starfield.
Yeah.
I had a whole Sunday of doing nothing.
Love it.
No lifing it.
Epic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the one I want to get into next. And hopefully that takes us up to the Christmas kind of time, and there'll be more coming out.
Yes. Yeah, I think I've got my hands full up till Christmas with both Starfield, hopefully Alan Wake 2 if I decide to pull the trigger on it, and Mario. Juggling those, I think we're in November now.
The other thing, and I've been thinking about what games I want to play next. The other thing that I might do is actually go back and complete Dread.
Do it. Yes. It's such a good game. I love Metroid Dread. It's so good.
I've got a lot of fondness in my mind about it. I know it's difficult. That kind of puts me off a bit. But it is a Metroid game. They're all difficult.
But you get good. Do you know what I mean? You do get good. The more you play it, the easier it becomes, And I can give you one of these 8-bit do controllers, so you've got a good D-pad.
That would be sick.
Yes.
That would be really sick.
Instant hacks.
Yes, I think that's it. I think that's it for now.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that I'm that hyped about.
I can't either.
But I guess it's that time where you could probably let us know in the comments what you're currently into, what you're currently playing, maybe even what you want to see us talk about or play or stream or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, let us know.
I did put a poll out asking what game you want to see me stream next, and everyone said Spider-Man 2.
So you're going to ignore it?
So I've ignored it. I don't even know. I knew as soon as I was writing it as an option, I was like, they're all going to pick that.
Yeah.
I don't really want to play it.
Yeah.
Sorry. But if you've got to the deep end with us and you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, and all those other places you get podcasts, please do rate the show, because it actually massively helps us out.
Absolutely.
And if you're on YouTube, Andy, what do they do?
They have to go and watch our videos in between our faces just here. Oh, yeah. And also, they've got to go down there, like this video, ring the bells, and drop us a comment and all that stuff.
Perfect. So until the next time, we'll see you next time.
Bye.